Coach, welcome back.
Thank you.
I'd like to start with a statement and then we will open up to questions from everybody here.
I don't have much of a statement other than it's good to be back with my team. And I liked our defense.
Becky, we talked on media day and I asked you how the dream compared to the reality of winning your first championship. You said outside of the parade, it still felt surreal to you. You said you needed ring night to know that it was real. Now that it's here, I pose the same question.
I mean, it's hard to look at those rings and not understand that it's real. It's an unbelievable crowd, unbelievable moment. Obviously really happy for our whole team, that 2022 team, all the members. It was a special run, and I think it was nice to enjoy it. Obviously, my mind is never far from the task at hand, so I took my little 5 minutes, enjoyed it, and then it was back to work. More importantly, our players took that same approach. They've just proved over and over again they can have a lot of distractions, but when the lights come on, they show up.
Becky, the rings are one thing and soaking that in, but for you personally, when you turn around and not only are you seeing the unveiling of the banner, but it's resting next to your jersey. That's a personal moment for you that I would imagine.
Yeah, I didn't even know they were gonna hang it right there, but I will say it looks very lovely next to it.
Coach,
They need some neighbors though, so some other jerseys will be up there eventually, I know.
hey, Coach.
And championship banners, hopefully.
You have always talked about living in a moment. And for somebody that has never seen the Aces, didn't know what you guys went through last year to get to this point where you are now, how would you describe the team? And most importantly, how would you describe Wilson as a player?
I really don't have enough adjectives for Asia Wilson. What I will say is you guys get to see her on the court. You get to see her work, how she is, her fire, her skill set, how she plays the game. And it doesn't even compare with her as a person. She's the MVP of the league. And I'm telling you, she's times 1,000 as a person. So to have that kind of leadership and character, she's a woman that has a lot of character. She's a real one, so I'm never surprised in how she performs. She's always present. It's one of the things that when I've been around some of the greatest to ever play, they are present. They don't want to dominate you for 23 minutes. They want to dominate you every single second they're out there, and that is a mindset. That is a different kind of approach, built different, hits different. That's what we want to do. We want to be present with each other the entire time.
Becky, you said in pregame that last game's defense was a C. You guys get 16 steals, 8 blocks. Not asking if this is an A, but is this a higher grade than last game? It just seemed like from the tip, the defense was locked in from moment one.
Yeah, they passed this test tonight. But you have to do it every night. It can't be 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there. It has to be a full 40. I just really feel like when we're locked in defensively, we're very difficult to beat. And when we're not, we're not. I think the defense, not only that, we have some really great individual defenders. There's no reason why we can't be great as a team. So that will be my challenge to them every game, is to play that end of the floor. On the other hand, I mean, like I said before, big room to coach them. They're that good offensively. I can help them out here and there, but mainly I want them taking ownership of everything they do out there, offensively and defensively. But they came ready to defend the paint tonight, and that's been my challenge. For the first day of training camp is I want to be elite defensively, and so that's where it all has to start for us.
Becky, that said, you opened the season in Seattle against a team that no longer has Super, Stewart, January. You go to LA and you gave your defense a C. LA comes here with a depleted roster. is there anything in the back of your mind that's like, we need a test at some point, we need a true test, we need a contender?
I mean, at this point, you just play who's in front of you. We're still playing a lot to our system. To the program, we haven't done a lot of outside schemes in the sense of like special defenses that we might do in the playoffs. But yeah, it's the test is definitely coming. They've obviously were depleted by more than, a couple people being out. Their roster is pretty decimated at this point. But just like any team, it's next man up. Doesn't matter who we're playing. And you'll see me up there coaching the whole time because it's not about who we're playing. It's about the standard and the identity that who we want to be. So I know I probably look crazy at times up there, but I'm not looking at the score. I'm looking about building winning habits.
Take one more question from the room, please. I've got one here online.
Coach, I want to ask about the offense. You mentioned before that you were being more reads-based offense. How do you find the balance between letting your players work through those reads and trusting their talent, trusting their IQ, and also kind of establishing, okay, we want to have point A, point B, and to have point things.
I think it's somewhat a matter of accountability. If you watched film with me, a lot of times I'll pause it before I know if it goes in or not, because we're not results-based, a defense or offense. We're identity-based, purpose-based. So some things, they may come down, they might hit one, but I'll stop the film right there and say, I don't, she makes or she misses, but this is the kind of shot we're willing to give up. This is the kind of shot we want them to take. She might make it. I mean, at the end of the day, they're too good offensively. The score is never going to be, in the 40s and 50s. It's just too good. But are we giving up horse shots, or are we like playing our defense and making things difficult? That's what I'm more concerned with. And the same thing goes for offensively. Stop the tape right there. I don't care. Is it a good shot or a bad shot? That's how I rank us a lot of times, because I do know if we play the right way and we shoot and share the ball the way that I know we're capable of, we're gonna be all right more nights than not.
Volpe, you have a question online on the Zoom?
Yeah, Coach Hammond, I know there's been a lot of emotions and things you've gone through personally the last couple of weeks. Was there sort of just a feeling of relief in some ways to tonight, the celebration, but also just to be back where you're probably happiest on the sideline?
For sure. I mean, it's so interesting how not only for, basketball players, but coaches or who's ever just been around the game, this is my 25th year in either the WNBA or the NBA. And it's my home space. So it was definitely nice to get out there, be with my team. But honestly, they've been so awesome through this whole thing. I mean, they know how to make me smile for sure. So, but it was nice to have this moment with them. And it was also, excuse me, nice to just be out there, be in the battle with them.
Across the board. I think we had a great showing, and like Becky said, I think we showed our identity today and what we're capable of to do over the course of 40 minutes. We had our drops off sometimes, but I mean, what game doesn't? But I'm very proud about how we showed ourselves today, on top of a lot of distractions that we had going on. But of course, it was a big deal to see the banner in the ring, and it looks pretty nice. Yeah, we had some fun today.
Pedro, you said you hadn't seen the rings before tonight, and that your first reaction would be right on the court. I guess, what were your first impressions?
There's a whole lot of diamonds, and it looks really, really good. And I mean, when it comes to just Vegas and how we do things here, we're gonna be over the top, and we're gonna be us, and I love that. And they really took care of us when it came to those rings.
As you talked about identity, and for all the ebbs and flows that we got to go through last year,
Yeah.
I think that you learned from to get you the championship status that you are now. If somebody never watched the Aces, how would you describe this team?
We are a hardworking elite group of young women. We get after it always, and we try not to take a lot of possessions off. And I think you saw that tonight out the gate. I feel like we we did really, really well cutting down the turnovers, because if you guys watched the LA game at LA, it was a lot of turnovers. So I feel like if you give us an assignment, we're gonna take care of it and make sure that we are coming out with the win.
Jackie, speaking of turnovers, 11 total forced turnovers in LA, 7 forced turnovers in the first quarter tonight. A lot of playing the passing lane, right? Steals, deflections. How much of that was kind of a product of just having seen this group and kind of being more familiar with what they do?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of that, but also just being extremely locked in on defensive end, and getting stops, getting deflections. I mean, they prepare us. We watch film, we go over their plays and things, but I think for us, we just have to be locked in on the defensive end.
Asia, there was, you mentioned the ring, the banner, special moment. There has been a special moment for both of you, seeing here, getting called up first to get it, and then they went to the locker room, obviously, but just to make sure it almost brings a little bit of closure.
Yeah, I mean, it does. And I mean, whatever that may look like, I feel like it was a great moment for her to have and a great moment for us to share with her. We don't win that ring without D. I'm not going to not say that because it's true. So it's very great that she can have that and share that moment with her 2 children and her mom and her sister there. And it was really good to see her.
It looked like when the banner was brought down, you had sort of an emotional moment, just
For sure.
to see that up there and then also to see it next to Becky's jersey. What do you think that means, not only to you, but to her? To have the championship banner, the only one you guys have next to her retired jersey, for her to coach this group.
I mean, it's just, I feel like, and she says it even sometimes, like, I feel like we're just forming a dynasty here. We want to go down in the books as one of the best teams the W has ever seen. And when I look up there and I see that me and my teammates were able to hang that banner, especially with Becky's first year of coaching, it was crazy. I got all the fields all over again because we worked our ass off last year. We really did. And a lot of people probably didn't have us in the situation that we were in. And we came out on top. So to see that, and obviously to see, I just remember meeting Becky the first time at her jersey retirement, like at our jersey hanging. So it's pretty dope just to see the full circle moment with our banner going up there and up there forever now.
This question is for both of you guys. You guys are locked in on defense and getting out in transition. What is it for you guys to be beating? It just seems like you guys are really defense as you're calling. It just makes everything easy.
I'm glad we make it look easy. It's actually very hard to tell. And I think we can get beaten. And that's why we have to play hard for 40 minutes on the defensive end every single day. Because I mean, I never really realized that defense wins championships until I won one. And I'm like, oh, defense does matter. And it fuels our offense. So I think for us, only people that I see beating us is ourselves. And we got to keep that mentality going forward.
Asa, talking about mentality, coming off this championship, banners up, you got the ring. Looking forward, how do you stay locked in on that championship mindset and defending this championship?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of approach it as just, I want to get another ring, not necessarily defending it or being back to back. I just want to go and approach it the same way I approached my first one. And I think that goes the same for all of us. I feel like if we look at that, we're going to put more pressure on ourselves and then it's downhill from there. But I'm so glad that we got this ring out of the way because that's just one distraction to put us aside. Now we can really focus on and lock in on us. But we know that target on our back has gotten a lot bigger. With that being said, we work a lot harder.
Asia, just under the 4-minute mark in the third quarter, you had that monster block.
Yeah.
And when it happened, your dad kind of sat back and put his hand up, kind of like he was still in awe of seeing the things that you're able to do on the court. How important is that for you, for your mom and dad and your family to still see you growing as a player?
It's super dope. I mean, my dad has been in gyms with me when I literally didn't want to touch a basketball and I didn't want to sweat. So to be able to share these moments with them is pretty incredible. And sometimes I think they kind of forget that I am still a basketball player because I'm their baby girl in their eyes. So anytime that I can shock my dad in a good way, I love that.
Jackie, what was some of just your emotions going through the banner ceremony and the ring ceremony? What were you kind of thinking?
Yeah, you know, kind of just like reminiscing on the season, but just soaking it all in, just having our family and friends here, enjoying this moment with us is special.
It seems like those kind of moments for reflection don't come very often, especially for professional athletes. I guess, how do you stay in that moment and appreciate what you've done without, you know, looking too far back?
Yeah, I think it's just trying to, you know, be present. We're looking forward to this night. And so I think just taking it all in with our teammates, just soaking it in and enjoying the moment. I mean, this is what we had worked for it all last season. And so I think it was important to, you know, really enjoy it tonight.
Like the presence of Candace Parker and what she brings to the table, how, how with that, with Jelly in the locker room and on the court, how does that work? How does that work?
It's been smooth. It's been smooth. Candace has the basketball IQ that's out of this world, and the way she thinks the game, the pace, she fits right in. And we're there to help her any type of way, and vice versa. So it's been pretty good, as well with Alicia, well with Kayla. Like all of our newcomers have did really well in our locker room. I feel like we're a pretty easy, chill locker room to kind of get used to. But it's been a pleasure so far playing with Candace and all of our newcomers. I say newcomers.
Let's go to Zoom really quick. Vogel, you got a question? I think you're still muted, Mike.
About that. Asia, this is just I have one for you and then a quick one for Jackie, if that's okay. Asia, Coach Hammond talked about how helpful it was to you guys, was to her that you guys were so supportive of her over the last 2 weeks, because it was kind of a tough time for her. Can you just talk about how you guys supported her during that time?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time, Mike? Because Becky came in here yelling, and I heard the tail end. So what did you say in the beginning? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Coach Hammond was saying how important it was you guys were so supportive of her. The last 2 weeks have been a little difficult, obviously, with her. And can you just talk about what you guys did to just sort of lighten the mood probably sometimes and support her?
Yeah, I mean, we just tried our best to be us. When we went out there on the court with that Beck, we just wanted to get a win for our head coach. Because obviously we know that it wasn't easy for her to sit on the sideline, and she probably cussed at us a million times at the TV, but we wanted to just make sure that we have to keep the main thing, and that's winning these basketball games and playing the right way. And so I feel like once we executed that, she was happy, but we know it was tough on her, but it was our job to make sure that we didn't have any drop off and continue to be us.
And Jackie, I mean, we've seen how efficient this offense is going back to last year and how good it's been so far this year. I think tonight you guys had 25 assists and just 9 turnovers. How much more potent does that make this team when you're that efficient and taking care of the ball that way?
Yeah, I think whenever we're locked in on defense, we're able to get, easy buckets in transition. Everyone's playing very unselfish, sharing the ball, making the right reads. And so whenever we're doing that, the ball's popping and we're getting open looks.
Yeah, certainly. Ray, missed last year because of her injury. And so essentially you're looking at Ray Burrell fighting her way, into her first game. Last cut in our camp, openly, excited to come and help us out and have that opportunity. And the rest of the league will get to see that performance. There's so many people like Ray Burrell that deserve to be in this league. It's just really, really difficult. It's really difficult. And so I give her a lot of credit. What she just did is not easy emotionally, is not easy physically. So much has been added since training camp to our playbook, so much schemes and planning that went into this, matchup, and she comes in and doesn't have that knowledge until, the last minute. So, Ray, we really, commend her. That's not easy what she just did.
Coach, do you feel like in situations like this, does it make you want to campaign a little harder toward the league office to try to get them to understand the importance of expanding the rosters at some point where you don't have to deal with these types of problems in case, you have illnesses and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously CBA dictates we're not going to talk about CBA issues and, roster sizes, but the league knows how we feel about today's game.
Coach, when you have a situation like this, if you're missing the talent that you are, and as you mentioned pregame, you're finding out, but basically a day of who's going to be available or not, how do you go about evaluating the game that you played in? Is it more about just the process and how things are going, or just kind of, this isn't our team, let's get to the next week?
No, there's a pride factor that these guys are all pros. Despite being low in numbers and people being put in different positions at the last second, ultimately we have a lot of pride in that locker room, that we have a locker room filled with competitive and talented players. But it turns more into us, what can we control? And, we had an offensive and a defensive game plan. And, the other night we were 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. To our credit, we battled back to a 1-to-1 tonight. But, turnovers really led to momentum for the Aces in that first quarter. Between points off turnovers and second chance points, they hardly had to run half court offense much in the first quarter. So now your schemes that have all been built against their half court offense, you don't get to those schemes. You don't get the practice and try and then get into the chess match of adjustments. It's impossible in this league, top to bottom. It's impossible in this league for anyone to guard live ball turnovers, and especially a team that's as potent as them, really hard to guard. So tonight was about us, and there was some frustration at times that we needed to be more efficient and sharp. We were not sharp on either side of the ball early. I appreciated how we started that first 4 or 5 minutes in the third quarter. We looked like ourselves. And, I was proud of that because of that.
Last question for Coach.
Kurt, last year, when you came here with Connecticut, you saw what De'Erica Hamby could do. Right? There was one particular game, all the star power they had. She came in off the bench and turned the game around. Now she plays for you. Tonight was an emotional night. The professionalism that she has brought through camp, through these last 2 games, can you just touch on De'Erica?
Yeah, special. This sums up her. Like, the ring ceremony happens. It's so difficult to win a championship in this league. And she won a championship and was a huge part of it. It's been a huge part of the build for Vegas to be where they're at through Bill and now Becky. And the first thing she did in the locker room when we got back in was apologize to me because she was worried how I was impacted by the ceremony. That just tells you what kind of character she had. Is like, no, like, De'Erica, I know better than anyone how difficult it is to win a championship in this league, being in the semifinals or beyond 4 straight years now. I know how difficult it was, but she felt compelled to apologize to me getting that ring and worried about what I felt. Like that just sums up De'Erica Hamby. And I will go to, I'm blue in the face, what she's done and how she's playing on such a short turnaround from her second child, having her second child, legend, and how fast she's back and the quality that she's playing is just a credit to her. It's just unreal. It's just not normal. How incredible it is to have her back this soon and the playing at the level. And I will tell you that she is such a great story for working mothers and how moms that can have children in professional sports, regardless of the sport, what she's doing is such a trailblazer and such a great story for all mothers that want to have children and continue to be a professional athlete. She's remarkable, and we're fortunate to have her.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a couple of stats for these 2 ladies. Carly is in double digits 3 games in a row. She also has a career high 7 rebounds. Mia's first WNBA start, and she has a career high 5 assists tonight.
Okay.
Yes, I would like to start off with just a comment on the game, both on your stats that Sue just read out, as well as starting your very first WNBA game.
I think tonight was a tough game. We came up against a really good Aces team, and we were shorthanded, but that's not an excuse. I think we all played hard, especially in the second half. We kind of turned it around. We dug ourselves a really big hole in the first half. In the second half, we came out better. So yeah, I'm proud of how we all, stuck together and, gelled, just given the circumstances. and nobody knew who was gonna be able to play until right before shoot around. So just the fact that we all came out and played hard was really important for us. And I think even in the loss, it's a good step for us.
Yes, similar thoughts. It's just the first half, we had so many turnovers and you can't do that against Vegas. Proud of Nia, proud of Ray, proud of the people that came out. Like she said, we didn't know who we were playing, but we're all pros on this team and proud of our second half. But
Carly, how difficult is it to kind of play with this mix of players? Obviously, you guys, like you said, didn't know who was going to be ready today. How do you guys adjust to that, tactics wise and scheme wise?
yeah, I mean, it's definitely when you find out the day of, it's like, oh, like Nia didn't play the last game and now she's starting. So that's one thing. But I back everyone on our team. Like we just didn't, start the game well. You can't have live turnovers against Vegas. It doesn't matter who the five were out there. We already know that. And that's what we did. So I back everyone on our team. Yeah.
Questions?
You heard my question to Kerr about the air, just what she's meant since she's arrived, especially after delivering her second child. Like, what is she? She's actually been a face of was the face of the Aces long before a lot of the stars that are on this team. Yeah. What is she meant to you? Yeah.
I think I touched on this last week. I got a similar question about Dearica. Just day one in camp, she wasn't full in, but she hopped in because she felt ready. And that's just remarkable. I didn't know she was able to go live like already. And day one of camp, she already did. And she has so much experience. I know this day was emotional for her. Like Kurt said, it's really hard to win a championship in this league and then, come in and do the ring ceremony right before this. But she's an inspiration, that's for sure. And I don't know, she picks us up. She brings energy clearly on the court, but off the court as well.
Yeah, I would just really say the same thing. I got here the day of the first game, and then even since then, I've noticed her impact, her presence. She's a vocal leader. She's a leader by example, and she's just a good person from how she talks to people, cares about people, and embraced me since I've been here and everyone else too. So she's been a really big part of what we're doing.